Right, hello everyone, welcome to another Sims 5x5 challenge with Mirjagon. So, I built a art studio. It's a garage conversion, it is 5x5, well, okay, technically it's not 5x5. It's a 5x5 box with a 1x3 bump out. But, I'm counting it as part of the 5x5 series, because it is basically, a 5x5. And it is still a micro home, and that's really all that matters. So I put this in Streamlit Single. And this is like one of the first times that I've used terrain tools. I don't mess with the terrain height very often because I hate it. I absolutely hate messing around with with the terrain tools and stuff because it's so fiddly, and it annoys the living daylights out of me. You know, you can't get it exactly the way you want. It's so difficult to get a nice, like a gentle slope without it looking weird. But I would say this took like the vast majority of time during this build. So what you're seeing here is a very fast time lapse of me doing this. I think this took me over an hour, I would say, just to get the terrain the way I wanted. Well, a little bit close to the way I wanted it, but it's pretty good. So yeah, we started off with, you know, the 5x5 box, like always. And like I said, this was meant to be a garage that's like been converted into an art studio slash, you know, flat. It's got all the mod cons, you know, all the things that you need like for a starter home, and technically this is a starter home. It's under 20,000 simoleons, so it is definitely a starter home. It's just an expensive one. So I put the graffiti garage door on the outside and inside. One, because I think it looks more realistic that way, and two, this way it gives your sim more of a graffiti, you know, more space for graffitiing. And this is what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to represent, you know, like not exactly an art studio per se, because there's no easel, but, you know, like a graffiti artist's studio type of place. The sim that I have in mind for this also loves to go bowling, so there's gonna be quite a bit of bowling stuff in here as well for decoration. As you can see here, I absolutely love that arrow light. It's just absolutely adorable. So up above on the second floor, we've got a 3x2, well, actually, I think it's a 3... Anyway, it's a very small, I think it's like a 3x2 little tiny attic room. And you'll see in a minute I put a bed up there, but I'm not 100% certain if the bed is usable, but, you know, at least it adds to the story, really, for the build. So in order to put the roof on there, you had to have all of the walls, but I didn't want the walls there, you know, all of the walls there, because I knew that it was going to be really tight space. So I took down that back wall so that the roof would basically be the back wall. You'll see in a minute exactly what I mean by that. So there you go. That back roof panel right there acts as a third wall. It's not really a wall. The game doesn't see it as being there, but it's aesthetically pleasing, if you will. Now, because this is so small, it doesn't really look good, in my opinion, you know, with being 2 stories. This would look a lot better if it was a larger build, I think, but it's a 5x5 series. I couldn't make it. I mean, I already had that little bump out there, and I felt like, you know, if I made it the base building, you know, the main part of the building more than 5x5, that it would be cheating. So, yeah, we kept it 5x5. Now, I put the corrugated metal everywhere, but I didn't like it being one color, so I changed the color of the roof, which is pretty cool. And having the corrugated metal roof kind of brought back a little bit of memory from childhood, because we lived in a trailer park when I was a kid. And of course, in mobile homes, the roofs are metal, and it's so loud when it rains. But at the same time, I mean, it got so loud when I can remember when I was a kid, our rooftops were so loud when it rained. We couldn't hear we couldn't watch TV. We couldn't listen to the radio when it rained back when I lived in Missouri, because, Missouri thunderstorms and rainstorms are atrocious to begin with. Add to that the sound of the rain pummeling up against a metal roof. And yeah, it was, it got really loud. It would drown out the TV, the radio, your voice. So you just sat there, and what my mom and I would do is, she would normally do housework, and I would curl up on the sofa, and I would read and look out the window and watch the rain as I read books. Good childhood memories, So there is a small kitchenette. We've got the oven, we've got a sink, and a refrigerator. Here's more bowling stuff. I also added you'll see, the dumpster bin in the back so that your sim can rummage, and also because it's got graffiti on it, and I thought that was a really nice nod to the fact that this is meant to be like a graffiti artist studio, Now, I went over the top in decoration here. For outside especially. Indoors is pretty well decorated. There's lots of posters, lots of clutter, a little bit of rose petal carpeting rug there for the toilet. Don't ask why I decided to do that, but I did. A mirror behind the toilet because there is no other place to put it. Put the graffiti outdoor bench in there for seating, again, because I thought it was really cute. There's only room for that vintage TV. The vintage TV, by the way, is a debug item. It's 25 simoleons. So, I mean, it is literally super, super cheap. Put some drop cloths in front, and, in front of both sides of the garage door, to signify, hey, you can do graffiti on this thing. I went overboard on posters. Now, I decided to do for the outside, I decided to use these flower beds that are a debug item. So I sized them down, I matched them up the best I could, and I went to town putting plants in these. I really like the way that that it all turned out. So I put a large, a tall evergreen tree in one of them, and I put a bamboo tree in the other side, as you see here. Now that tree in the back there that I put on the actual ground, that's not gonna stay there. I ended up getting rid of it because it was in the way, to be honest. It just kept getting in the way, so I removed it, and I don't think I put it back in. I honestly cannot remember, but I don't think I left it in. Or put it back in. I think I left it out. But yeah, I went to town doing all of these, with all these plants. I mean, I just absolutely covered these little beds here with flowers, basically to the point where you can't even see that the beds exist. And the reason I did that is because, again, the terrain was so messy. There were gaps where I couldn't get the terrain to meet up, to the underside of the flower beds. So I'm just like, okay, fine, forget this. I'm just gonna add an absolute crap ton of plants, and we're going to disguise the fact that these beds are even here So technically, I didn't really need the beds to begin with, but they're there, and I've learned my lesson. You know, if you're gonna mess with terrain tools, and you're not gonna have a flat area, don't use these debug beds. They're awesome though. I really like them, so I might use them in some of my future builds, because I really enjoyed filling them with plants. But right there, you know, you can see I had to put these bushes in to disguise the fact that the terrain didn't go all the way underneath the those beds. So, you know, like I said, when in doubt, if something doesn't look right, just add plants. And boy, did I add plants. So many plants here. Happily and luckily, they're all debug, so they technically don't add to the cost of the lot. This is why the lot is under 20,000, despite having so many plants, is because I just used debug stuff. Used absolute tons of debug stuff, because that's the way forward, you know? Always use the debug stuff. Now, some of it, you know, you can see there, some of it was cost. You know, some of it wasn't debug, but a lot of it was. Put the little birdhouse there from Eco Living. I have never used that birdhouse before, but it is so cute. Absolutely love it. Some sunflowers, some rocks. Put a little chair there on the side porch. And that's it. That is the house. It is so simple. Like I said, there's a little bed up in the attic room. Don't know if it works, but the bottom area, you know, is all decorated up. Yeah, it just absolutely looks gorgeous. The garden is just out of this world. You know, I would think that this house would probably look really nice. You know, the garage itself would look really nice in a large lot next to a larger house, you know, as like a side building. Maybe turn it into a mother-in-law's house or something. So it's called 5x5 Garage Art Studio. It is in the gallery. Just search for Murdragon. That's my username in the Sims 4 gallery. Only used 3 packs plus the base pack, you know, plus the base game. So it's really low. But yeah, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it. Have a good day.